Welcome back to On Texas Football, a weekend edition for you. I'm CJ Vogel, joined by Jeff Howe and Rod Babers, two of the brightest minds in Texas Longhorn football capacity. Right now, if you're looking for news, you're going to have to wait a little bit. But we do have a fun video in store for you talking Steve Sarkisian's offensive talent, and we're drafting them. And so just to kind of lay out the rules here, Jeff will be drafting first. We'll go through a snake draft real quick, and then Rod will get 2 and 3, Jeff 4 and 5, and so on and so forth. We're drafting 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, and a tight end. Just build it how you like. And now everybody that has played for Steve Sarkisian on the offensive side of the football is eligible, right? And so the 2026 team will be eligible as well. So that includes Roshan and Bijan back in the day, Casey Thompson, Hudson Carter in the mix, or you can go new age, right? Raleek Brown, Hollywood Smothers, Jermaine Bishop Jr., Cam Coleman. Everybody's in the mix, right? And so construct your favorite draft roster, if you will. Jeff, you know the rules now. Pick 1-1 is yours. You're on the clock.
It's usually like the worst team goes first, right? Because they need the most help. So I mean, that was GM last year. No, look, typically you'd go quarterback for this position. I'm not going quarterback, and I'll run the risk of basically picking whoever Rod doesn't take at quarterback. I'm taking Bijan Robinson with my first pick.
That's a quality.
If we're in a 7-on-7 format, I can use him in multiple ways. I can line him up in the backfield. I can split him out, put him in the slot. Rod, for even before he got to campus, I said, hey, this guy could be on your team and be your best wide receiver from day one because he's got that kind of skills. In my lifetime watching this program, other than he's in a select group to me with Ricky Williams, Roy Williams, and Vince Young as the most dynamic, prolific, unstoppable offensive forces I've seen in a Texas uniform. Just could dominate a game in so many ways. Broke a school record, by the way, that I thought would never be broken. When he broke Jimmy Saxton's school record for yards per attempt in a season, for yards per rushing attempt, even though Tom Herman refused to give him the ball half the year, which is a different discussion. Yeah, I think I've said enough. Bijan's my number 1 pick.
I don't think many are surprised he's the first running back taken. I am a little bit surprised he's the first overall player taken. But Rod, you got 2 picks here, 2 and 3. Where are you headed?
No, I mean, I actually, in my draft notes here, I got 1 next to 2 players' names, and Bijan was one of them because Bijan could have been my number 1 pick. But I'm going to go Arch here. I'm going to get my QB. I'm going to go Arch, baby. I appreciate Jeff giving me that QB. That's usually the toughest position to build your team around, and I get to lead my 7-on-7 squad. I got Arch, who I think is going to have a phenomenal year. So we're snake draft, so I'm getting back-to-back picks here. Yep. This is tough, actually. This one is tough. This one actually is tough because there's one guy that I would love to take with this pick, but man. There's a couple of guys that are really intriguing here. I'm talking future prospects potentially that are really intriguing. I'm going to go with Xavier Worthy. I'm going to go with X-Man. I'm going to go with the fastest human being in the history of the NFL Combine. Why not? Also a guy who's tried and true, proven in Sark's offense. He can be your deep threat if you need him to be that, but he can be the yak daddy if you need him to be that. So I'll go with Arch and Xavier Worthy. I mean, that's 2 first-round caliber talents, and I'll take both those guys in my top 2 picks.
Yeah, it's, of course, looking at this Arch to Xavier Worthy connection, it makes you wonder what that could have been like on the vertical passing game, right? Of course, that was one aspect of this. Rod, I know we're not also talking special teams, but you get the return in that one as well. Jeff, you're up for picks 4 and 5. Those will be 2 and 3 for you.
Yeah, I looked at tight end, but I feel like I can get a tight end, whichever one Rod doesn't take of the 2 that a lot of people are thinking about. So in quarterback, again, I've got 1 pick. So I'm going to go ahead and knock out my 2 wide receivers here.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm going to go with 2 guys that were 1 and done at Texas, but ended up being high draft picks. My wide receiver, part of my wide receiver trio, this duo, I'm going Matthew Golden and A.D. Mitchell.
It's quality pickups.
I felt, AD Mitchell, I don't think gets enough credit for how good he was specifically in the 2 games Quinn missed in 23, where it was Malik Murphy. And I think that's when we got to see the skill set. It was like, hey, just throw it, just chuck it deep, and 5 will probably go get it for you. And he did. And he made a couple of big plays against BYU and Kansas State. And then Matthew Golden, once it ended up being actually really fortunate that Texas took him, because once Isaiah Bond got hurt, he emerged as the number 1 wide receiver for that team. And the 4th and 13 catch against Arizona State, it's right up there with, you can put it up there with, Randy Peschel or any of the great catches we've seen in school history, the most memorable catches in school history that he made in that Peach Bowl. So, yeah, I'll go Matthew Golden and A.D. Mitchell for 2 of my wide receiver spots.
That's good. No, I mean, Matthew Golden's season was underrated. I still take receiver. I mean, that guy led, I think, the country in terms of wide receivers in explosive receptions in 2024, and nobody increased their draft stock more. Nobody had Matthew Golden mid-season as a first-round pick. Nobody had him as a first-round pick. And
I also sit and wonder how much he could have impacted that Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
Had he not been dinged up, he rolled his ankle, I believe, in the second quarter. He didn't see much of the second half. Texas obviously struggled to move the football. Would that have made a difference? We don't know. But that's always been a what if for me.
Didn't he come in and make a spectacular catch, though, early on in that game?
Yep.
I want to say in that Ohio State game. I want to say it was like on a 3rd down, too. It was a really nice catch.
Over the shoulder catch, if I remember.
Yeah,
right.
it was really freaky. But so no, I like that. I had Matthew Golden right there as one of my guys in my pick, so I had to cross about that. That hurts me a lot. But you know what? I'm happy because I can finish building my wide receiving core. I'm gonna take Cam Coleman. This seems easy peasy right here, baby. Because Cam Coleman is about to have a field day with Arch. We know chicks dig the long ball, and so does Arch. He's gonna throw it deep, especially in the scramble drill. He's gonna be great. He led the country in deep contested catches last season with 9 among all of the receivers with at least double-digit contested targets deep. He had the best catch rate on deep contested targets too. So he's going to be really good for Texas in terms of stretching the football field and forcing teams to keep a safety over the top and 2 safety. So Cam Coleman, that's easy. This is a tough one. I got to start getting some running backs here, man. I got no running backs. All right, so this should be easy. I'm just going to take Jay Brooks and start out my backfield here. I need a true bell cow running back. So Jay Brooks, that's easy, over 1,000 yards. Guy, if he didn't get hurt, probably would have ended up winning the Doak Walker if he didn't get hurt that season.
Right.
Hey, Jeff, you know what? This is the best compliment I got for taking Jay Brooks. What's your hot take, Jeff? What's your hot take about Jay Brooks that season?
If Jonathan Brooks does not get hurt in the TCU game, Texas wins the 2023 national championship.
Boom.
That is a take I don't think many will disagree with.
I will die on that hill.
You won't let it go. He's been saying it ever since then, and he won't let it go. He's like, no, man, he win the national title. So there you go. I got Jay Brooks. I like that. That's good. And, I'm kind of with Jeff. I feel like we're disrespecting the tight ends on this one, but we're gonna wait on the tight ends.
Well, here's the rebuttal to that, and it's no knock on, the 3 guys that we've seen, right? Jack injuries, we've obviously seen Jatavian Sanders, Gunnar Helm put up monster seasons at Texas. But of the guys that we've seen listed so far, every one of them has been at least a top 64 pick in the NFL draft, right? I'm talking about Jonathan Brooks, Bijan as your running backs, Xavier Worthy first round, Matthew Golden first round, Adonai Mitchell first round. And I believe it's very safe to say that Cam Coleman and Arch Manning are going to find themselves called in the first 64 picks in 2027 as well. That's pretty darn good. So, Jeff, I know that you're up. You have Bijan Robinson, Matthew Golden, and Adonai Mitchell already on your roster. Where are you headed next for your next 2 picks?
Yeah, so I'm gonna nerd out a little bit, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna build a functional team here, right? And I've got Bijan, so I got my bell cow running back, which means I can kind of take a versatile guy that I can basically have as a chess piece to move all over the place. I'm gonna take Jaden Blue as my second running back.
Oh, okay.
Over Roschon Johnson, because if you go back to 2024, I mentioned Matthew Golden was your number 1 wide receiver especially once Isaiah Bond got hurt. Jaden Blue was probably your second best receiving threat on that team. It was kind of neck and neck between him and Gunnar Helm, but especially down the stretch, the A&M game, the playoff game against Clemson. You look at all the Cotton Bowl against Ohio State. he was a big-time receiving threat for you with the home run speed. So I'm going to take Jaden Blue at running back. I just like the way he complements. But I don't need Jaden Blue to be the guy. He can just kind of play his role. Keelan Robinson was also maybe kind of a sneaky pick there, but I'll go with Jaden Blue. For the third wide receiver spot, nothing against any of these guys. I got to take one for the culture. I need an alpha dog on my team. I'm taking Jordan Whittington. You talk about a culture guy, toughness, brings all of it to the table. Guys will follow him. You want him in the foxhole, and when healthy, was really freaking good. I can already stretch the field with Matthew Golden and AD Mitchell. I need a guy to get me some tough yak over the middle of the field. Very few guys I would trust to do that more. And it doesn't matter. I could be playing quarterback. On third down, you can look to Jordan Whittington. He's going to make the catch. So many catches he made in 22 and 23 were third down catches. He was clutch for Quinn. So my two picks in this round are Jaden Blue and Jordan Whittington.
Jeff, I love the hands on your receivers right now. Golden, Mitchell, Jay Witt, that's pretty darn good. Rod, not to knock your guys, obviously Xavier Worthy, Cam Coleman, two guys that we expect to hear in the first round. Where are you headed next?
I mean, this is good. Oh, man. Okay. I need one tight end. I need
one receiver and a running back. Yep.
One receiver. Okay. All right. I'm trying to look at the best value here for my team. All right. I'm looking at that value here overall. All right. Oh, I feel like I'm disrespecting so many people here. Okay. I'm gonna go with. I still got to go with value at the wide receiver position. I'm gonna take Ryan Wingo. I'm gonna take him. I feel like all SEC caliber guy being disrespected here, so I'm gonna take him to fill out my wide receivers. I guess I'm looking toward the future.
Mm-hmm.
Right, my wide receiving core. I'm gonna see a lot of it show up in 2026 for you. So I'll take him on my as one of my wide receivers, and then I want to go to the backfield here, and this is where it gets really interesting, guys, because there's still a lot of talent to choose from in this backfield. Not only you got the two guys you just brought in, all right, Raleek Brown, Hollywood Smothers. You got a 1,000-yard back in there. You got Hollywood Smothers, one of the most explosive backs in the country. But Trey Wisner, I feel like is being disrespected here too, as a 1,000-yard back for Texas. Oh man, this is tough. This is tough. Okay, I'm probably gonna go with a. You know what? I'm gonna take Raleek Brown. Yeah, I'm gonna take Raleek Brown.
I like that too.
I'm gonna take Raleek Brown. I'm gonna take somebody I think can help you a little bit more in the passing game, but also just as another explosive weapon for you. Yeah, I feel like I'm disrespecting Trey Wisner, but I'm sorry, but I got Jay Brooks. I got a bell cow. I need a toy. All right, I need a toy in that backfield. I can really get creative with. Sark can get creative with. Excuse me, and I'm gonna go with Raleek Brown. I wanted Hollywood Smothers too. I really did. I was debating between those two guys. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm going.
Well, you'll both go a direction where, for your second running back, you could deploy the pony package and still be effective, right? You have your bell cow and a guy that I don't want to call them gadgets because obviously Jaden Blue and Raleek Brown are more than that, but the speed is there. The receiving ability is there. I see the vision for both. Jeff, you're down to your final two picks. You got a tight end. You're going to be the first to make a pick on a tight end. And is it safe to say Quinn Ewers is going to be your quarterback?
Tight end and quarterback, I'm going Jaleel Billingsley and Hudson Card to finish off my team. No disrespect to those guys. So just say that and just having fun. Look, I'm treating this as a functional 7-on-7 team, right? Ain't no blocking in 7-on-7. I don't need to set the edge. So if I don't need to worry about my tight end setting the edge, I'm taking Jatavian Sanders. All he's got to worry about doing is catching the ball for this team. And, he improved so much, just became a well-rounded. I have been wrong about prospects. I don't think I've ever been more wrong than I was about Jatavian Sanders with a preconceived notion going into watching him in a high school game thinking, I don't know why this guy doesn't play defense. I think he could be a great edge rusher. And then I'll never forget standing in the end zone in a playoff game against College Station High in Waco, and he takes a bubble screen about 50 yards and is burned off on the defense. I'm like, there's no way in hell if I'm letting this guy play defense at all. And at that time, I was still under the impression he's going to be playing for Tom Herman. I'm like, no way he's playing defense. He's playing offense. He's a game changer. Gunnar Helm had a hell of a year in
He did.
2024, but I just think peak Jatavian Sanders is more dynamic, gives me more bang for my buck than peak Gunnar Helm. So I'm going to take Jatavian Sanders with my tight end. And can I take a specific version of Quinn Ewers?
Sure.
Because
Go ahead.
I think the 2023 version of Quinn Ewers I'll take over 2020. Y'all realize I was crunching some numbers. Just look, I went down a turnover rabbit hole the other day. Do you realize Quinn Ewers in 14 games in 2024 accounted for 17 turnovers?
Oh yeah,
5 fumbles and 12 interceptions. Like I know the injury hurt him, and it just never seemed like he was right. But the 2023 version of Quinn Ewers, it was good enough to win you a national championship. So I'm taking Quinn, but I want the caveat that it's the 23 version of Quinn Ewers.
I won't disagree either. Rod, your final pick. Who's your tight end?
Obviously, Gunnar Helm is my tight end. I would gladly take Gunnar Helm. I mean, he had one of the greatest, if not the greatest, season ever in terms of productivity for a tight end in Texas football history. It's a 7-on-7 team. That's why I kind of agreed with Jeff's strategy of, hey, I'm just thinking about the pass. I'm not thinking about guys. Physicality kind of takes a back seat a little bit. I just need guys who are skilled. So I know we left some meat on the bone there. No Rojo, that hurt me. Very wiser, but I need explosivity. I need guys that can, be explosive. So Gunnar Helm's great because he was great in explosive plays for you too. He was mossing, but toward basically his year, he was mossing guys. He was getting you yak. He had all the things that we questioned about Gunnar Helm's game. He made everybody look foolish. Made all of us look foolish because he was like, no, I can do all those things. So and now doing it in the league. So I'll gladly take Gunnar Helm as my tight end. I like that.
Yeah, I'll say this about the 2 tight ends too. When you just look at them, I mentioned peak Jatavian Sanders, I think was better than peak Gunnar Helm. The one thing you can say about Gunnar Helm is the consistency. Like, JT was banged up, especially in 23 for various parts of it. But Gunnar Helm in 24, like he was one of the he and Matthew Golden were like 2 of the constants on offense that year, like a non-lineman, because that was a veteran line group. Like you knew they were going to be there. You knew you could count on those guys in a pinch. So yeah, I dig it. Rod, was there anybody that you mentioned Rojo? Was that the one that it hurt you to leave off?
Rojo's the one that hurt me. Because just think about the kind of the culture warrior that he became for the team. You got one on your team with Jay Witt. I kept thinking about that. And Trey Weiser just, is a guy that accomplished a lot. No longer obviously on the team. Now he's with Florida State, but just thinking about, it's 1,000-yard back during Sark's tenure. So it's a good thing that guys like that, you can go undrafted in an exercise that like this shows you kind of talent that Sark has stockpiled over his tenure here at Texas.
Yeah, just to add to that, look, no Isaiah Bond. I know that we didn't get to see a full season of him fully healthy, but he's putting up numbers for the Browns this year. Not easy to do, given, they're the Browns. Additionally, no Jack Injuries, who is going to be a draft pick this year as well. So look, Trey Wisner, Roshan, those are surprises to me. Jeff, I was a little surprised you went blue over Raleek Brown and Smothers, but hey, a guy with 14 touchdowns in a single year, pretty darn good. Real quick before I get y'all's final arguments here, or just how excited you would be to field this team. Jeff, your roster of Quinn Ewers, Bijan Robinson, Jaden Blue, Matthew Golden, Adonai Mitchell, Jordan Whittington, and Jatavian Sanders. I see you still like that 23-24 era quite a bit. Yeah. Rod B, Arch Manning, Jonathan Brooks, Raleek Brown, Xavier Worthy, Cam Coleman, Ryan Wingo, and Gunnar Helm. You got some new juice on that roster. I like it. And you got a lot of speed there as well. But Rod, final thoughts on your end as y'all wrap up this draft.
No, to your point, I'm thinking the future is going to be really explosive. That 2026 season, I got Cam Coleman on this team. I got Raleek Brown, Arch Manning. This has the potential to be one of the most explosive, if not the most explosive offense that Sark has ever had. It was the most explosive offense in the country in 2024 in terms of generating explosive plays. I think you get back to being top 5, top 10 in that category with this offense. So I think that's why I'm so optimistic about, the future, at least this 2026 season, because I think the weapons that Sark has are going to be some of the best weapons he's ever had. since he's been in Texas.
And Jeff, I'll leave the final word with you as well.
I think the pick that could age the best out of all the picks that we made is Rod's pick of Ryan Wingo, because he doesn't have to go out and be the guy now. Like, one of the conversations that there's a question I asked a lot going into last year: could Ryan Wingo be a number one receiver? Well, now he doesn't necessarily have to. Like, we know who wide receiver one is on this team without question. It's Cam Coleman. But that's good for Ryan Wingo. Hopefully, maybe with the pressure off a little bit, he can settle in and play that specific role and grow and make himself more than just a screen guy. So, Rod, I think that pick could age really well. I agree with you, Rod, on the 26 offense, how explosive it could be. I really thought I came really close to going Hollywood Smothers over Jaden Blue, because I think Sark can unlock Hollywood Smothers as a receiving threat, because NC State just didn't. They threw him the ball, but I just thought they left a lot of meat on the bone. Could have done more with him in terms of being diverse. But I think it speaks to where this program has been and is going under Sark, that we can do this exercise, because if we try to do this with Charlie Strong or Tom Herman, man, some of those positions, you try to get real deep at some of those positions, it's we're really, really, really drudging up some names that you have to talk yourself into. There was no talking ourselves. I think I'll speak for Rod. I don't think we're talking ourselves into anybody. There was, like, to Rod's point a minute ago, several guys that belong on one of these teams that we had to leave off.
Yeah. And that then aids, kind of adds to the conversation of how fun this same practice will be in 2 to 3 years when you get a full look at a Derek Cooper or Jermaine Bishop, obviously the two running backs that we just mentioned here as well. Does a Cohen Brown or Emmett Mosley factor in to this conversation? So that's going to be a lot of fun here soon. Programs, offensively, a lot of juice, a lot of star power, and this should be a fun conversation. But drop a comment. Which roster do you like more? Who were you surprised made the roster or was left off? We're all about it. But make sure to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and we'll be doing more of these as we get ever so close to spring football, only about 2.5 weeks away. But we got you covered. Jeff, for Rod, for myself, and everybody at On Texas Football, and Matthew behind the scenes. Y'all have a great weekend. Happy weekend. Welcome.